Denise McGillvary is a Cree Indigenous woman, mother, and grandmother out of Opaskwayak Cree Nation in Treaty 5 territory. Swampy Cree is the dialect in her community. She's been an urbanized Indigenous person for about 25 years. During that time, she has learned and understood Indigenous culture from many different perspectives, and respectfully utilizes and shares what she's learned with her children and grandchildren.
I just want to start by saying Danse. Hello. My name is Denise McGillvary. Denise McGillvary Nitsigatsun. I come from Opaskwayak Cree Nation. I'm currently living in Winnipeg. I've been in Winnipeg for about 25 years. I haven't had much opportunity in these years, I think, to sit and kind of learn and watch my language happen around me within the communities that the nonprofit organizations that I've been working with or participated in. In the last 10 or 15 years, there's been a lot of culture coming to life, which is wonderful, and I love it, and I love to be a part of that community. But along with culture and learning those teachings comes language, and identity is one of those things that are very important to kind of go hand in hand. The last time we were here, we spoke about barriers, and one of the things I didn't mention last time is actually a huge barrier, and it's coming out a lot more, and I'm noticing a lot more, and I'm not being critical because every teaching is any teaching who's ever willing to do it, but a lot of times people without the financial means are unable to participate with certain teachings because there's a fee involved, and I was lucky. I just happened upon Chance's ad on Facebook for the Cree language programming, which was free, which in all honesty, their group and their program applied for a grant from the federal government in which they received, and they implemented that grant in a way where it was very accessible for many different people and many different spaces. And having that ability just to sign up and say, hey, yeah, I want to do this. This is something that I've been waiting for a really long time. Even, after knowing I know some real prominent and exclusive words that, are pretty intrinsic for everyday life, like basic commands and basic like verbs and nouns, etc. Like those kinds of things I've carried all my life, numbers and counting, and being able to use those one sentence words, still helped me keep that language. Although I want to become more fluent, and I want to be able to sit in circles and in the community in circles and be able to just fluently speak in language, like not have one little word of English. That's going to be a few years coming, but I can see it happening. Yeah, that was one of the things that I really thought about since I last sat down here is those barriers and the vision. I think that a lot of us see, who are really coming into our own by ways of our language, our culture, our identity, and raising up our own children and grandchildren now in the days of reconciliation, as they say. I just wanted to share that piece. I felt it was really important that comes up, and, as grateful as I am for this opportunity to use my voice, I'm very happy to be here. Facebook was very happy that I was here. So, that really, really kind of lifted me up and boosted my confidence to be able to say, yeah, this is really what is needed, and this is really how I feel, and I'm not going to be ashamed of not knowing my language. I'm not going to be ashamed of being nervous, and I'm not going to be ashamed of making mistakes while learning my language. Because with every lesson or every teaching, it's not always going to come out perfect as we want it, right? There's mistakes, and that's learning. And I think being able to learn and make those mistakes in a gentle, safe space is really important. So with my children, again, reflecting back, I was approached my children. They're pretty excited that I did a radio recording. They're super happy. So I'd asked them if they wanted to just kind of sit down with me and let me know the words that they know in Cree that I use often in my daily life. But 11-year-old and a 13-year-old, they just kind of don't want no part of that. So it was like, even though they're super excited and super proud and encouraging, they're like, no, Mom, that's kind of your work right now. We're just going to tag along and cheer you on. So I thought that was really interesting. But as interested as they are in understanding, I take that as another pat on the back that I am doing something right. Where they go to school and the people that they hang out with are very diverse culture in our community and in their school. Like, there's a vast array of cultures. So one of the things I really like is that they have that openness, they have that understanding, and they have that willingness to know and to understand people's different cultures, and being able to just be accepting of that, just the same as their peers are accepting of their culture. The other thing is just, I say this and I still do, and I love it, and it's no way in any shape being offensive or, any type of negativity in saying this, but I am very, very happy when I see other people in their cultures having like whole conversations in their language, and I sit there and I often wonder, because they're having fun and they're smiling and they're using their language, and it just looks so natural, right? It just looks so natural, and it's something that I feel everybody in every culture should be able to do, is just to be able to speak their language openly and without shame, or, and having that full understanding of what that means. So again, that's the vision, right, for the future, is to be able to have all of that for our people, for our grandchildren. There's not many people left from my mother's generation, so my parents' generations or my grandparents' generations, who in my life would have carried the fluency and to be very fluid in the language. So there's really not much more people left to teach, unless we really take that responsibility on and offer it to the next generations coming up. So that's a huge responsibility that we have to take on. Now, growing up as a child, I didn't know anything of my culture. I didn't even know I was treaty. I really didn't know that I was Indigenous. I thought I was Métis, because my father's French. So I didn't know that I was Indigenous for a really long time, I think until my teen years. And then upon moving to Winnipeg, I did not have any teachings, any knowing about ceremony or language or spirit names or anything like that. I did not know. But I was able to run into a community where I had some experiences with a knowledge keeper and a sweat lodge. Sweat lodge, gosh, I lost my word, but he can carry a sweat lodge and he can run a sweat lodge. So that was my first experience, and I was 23 years old. And during that time, they were offering spirit names, and I thought, wow, that's something so important. I did not take my spirit name until I was in my mid-30s, I think, because I knew that was a big responsibility. Like, somehow I knew that if I was going to commit to having that ceremony of taking my spirit name, that I was taking on a huge responsibility, even though I didn't really fully understand what the teachings were of being an Indigenous person. So oftentimes in some circles, you hear people talking of blood memory. There are some things that come to light for me just randomly. I can now just say, wow, where did that come from? But I understand now that's blood memory. Like, that's my ancestors coming to me and helping me learn and helping me walk and helping me to teach, and, helping me to be responsible with these teachings that, we carry, that we should have, been carrying from the day that we're born, right? From the time that we come out of our mother's womb, there's a whole bunch of learning that I want to say somehow been misplaced, and that's me being kind and respectful. I just don't feel like there's any place anymore for blame. We kind of know the history. We're angry about the history. Some of us are very, very hurt and damaged by the history. But in those last few years, the movement with respect to reconciliation, I don't feel the anger has any place there anymore. If we're really, really going to move forward and we're really, really going to, help our children learn and grow and understand who we are and our history, we cannot carry that anger forward with us anymore. I just don't feel like it has a place. We can definitely talk about it, but we cannot allow the anger to pass through generations anymore, because it's going to affect what our grandchildren are learning and how they're learning. Yeah, that's kind of where I went after our first meeting. I was like, whoa, there's so much. And I'm just really, again, grateful for these opportunities and grateful that Chance had opened this door up for me, and grateful to you, Ryan, for Facebook. And, you just blew my confidence right up. So I appreciate that. And I really look forward to having many more doors open and having many more opportunities to share in learning the language, because there's no way that I am at the place where I can say that I am a teacher, but I can definitely say that I'm in a place that I can walk beside someone when they're taking their journey to learn, because we've all got to start somewhere. And if we're not going to hold somebody's hand as we're learning, then what's the sense of learning? Right? If we're not going to share that knowledge with somebody who, maybe is really shy and doesn't know how to walk in the door and say, hey, I want to learn that too, or I have a few words. Can I learn how to put them all together too with you? So just making that safe space within reasonable to be able to open the doors in a capacity that's accessible. Because there's a lot of organizations that are, you need to take a bus, or you really need to travel quite a distance. And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people won't have the courage maybe to take that step. But if it's something you're walking by every day on your journeys, you can finally take one opportunity and say, maybe I will walk in there and just see what it's all about. I think that's kind of how I've come to a lot of opportunities in my life. So from the time I was in my late 20s up until now, like a lot of community non-for-profit organizations have really helped me to grow into the woman that I am, and to grow into understanding what it's like to be a community member in a marginalized society, and how to help. That's kind of what I wanted to say.
What are some of the next steps you'll be taking on your language journey?
Well, I would like to pursue a more invested understanding of the language. So I'm currently looking at education, like furthering my education in social work, but I want to be able to engage with youth, right? Because you see now that we've got so many displaced youth with really no paths. Once again, intrinsically know who they are and carry those memories and need to really feel their identity. And that's where my passion is. Like child welfare, as much as, they mean well, they're not doing well. And then I feel like if there's somebody who's going to advocate for the kids, and not in a way that the government advocates, like on a personal level, like, just to be able to say, hey, this is who you are. And if you're willing to come and learn, or, to open those doors within the agencies rather than just have a social worker say, well, here's your foster home. They've got to be able to have those resources available to know, to let the kids know, to let the youth know, to let the parents know, especially, right? That this is what we're here for. We're not here just to mandate how you take care of your children. We want you to learn how to parent your children in a way that our ancestors did, right? In a good way, with language, with culture, with teachings. And that's quite a broad explanation, I guess, of what I see. Like, to get down to the real meat and potatoes of it all, that's going to take at least 10 years just to form a plan of how to implement something like that. So, like I said, my goals are social work, and in the next few months, I'll know whether or not I'm going to really be able to dig deep into that into the fall, or do I just continue to do some work within the community and some of the nonprofit organizations.
Multicultural is located on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis.